Houseplant Queens, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sab if we've never met before, and this is my channel where I talk about my houseplants, mostly in passive hydroponics. So for this video, I wanted to talk about my wishlist plans for 2021. Now I had a really hard time narrowing down all the plants that I want, but I was looking through the list last night and I just tried to be realistic about what I could possibly get this year. So Anthurium Regal is out of the question, or my dream for a Warocqueanum. It's probably not gonna happen this year unless someone's really kind to me. Let me just pull up the list real quick. Alright, so I will go through this by plant genus just to make it easier, and I'll have a photo on the side of the screen here for your reference. Let's go through the philodendrons first. So the first one on my list is a Brantianum, and these are just the cutest things. The silver markings on the foliage is just amazing, and I feel like I don't need a Soderoy if I get a Brantianum. Although I totally regret not buying this last year because now they're selling for such an expensive price. I understand this is really accessible for people in the US because they're being mass produced, but that trend hasn't made its way here and it's still selling for a pretty penny. But yes, the Philodendron Brantianum is definitely on my list. This is in no particular order, by the way. I'm kind of just reading through the different types of plants. The next philodendron is a variegated Burl Marx, and I don't know what to say. It's just such a gorgeous plant. I do have the regular green form, and it's one of my fastest growing plants, so I assume that the variegated version will be a little bit slower, but still it's gonna be a decent rate of growth, which is why I'm kind of rationalizing to myself it's okay to pay that price or try to trade for it, because it will grow a lot and I'll be able to trade or sell cuttings pretty quickly. But I just love the variegation on this. It's almost like an aurea or a yellow variegation, and I don't think I have a plant aside from my Thigh constellation, which is more of a cream than a yellow variegation. So I really want a yellow variegated plant, and I think this might be the best candidate for that. Next is one of the big ticket items on this list is a Paraiso Verde. Definitely won't be able to afford this, but I might be able to trade for it hopefully this year. And I know not everyone is a fan of this plant because of the way it grows, but I just love the variegation on it, and I think it would look really nice on this little plant wall behind me. And it's just such a gorgeous plant. The variegation is so unique. I don't think I've seen this kind of variegation on any other type of plant, and I just really want to add it to my collection. Next is the Philodendron Campus Portuanum. It's a velvety, cute little plant with lobes, and I just don't know what else you could ask for from a plant. It's so adorable, and I love how the form changes as it matures. Although if I were to have it, I would probably try to keep it on the kind of average form of it, the one you see with the little tiny lobes and the velvety leaves, because if I'm not mistaken, I think they do lose their velvetiness as they mature, and I don't want to lose that in the plant. But yeah, this is actually pretty accessible, so I don't think I'll have a hard time getting it, and it's not that expensive. I think I'm just kind of waiting to find the perfect version of it before I bite the bullet. Next is a Philodendron Lime Fiddle, and I was thinking about whether I should include this on this list when I was narrowing it down last night, because I was debating. It kind of looks like a Paraiso Verde, perhaps like a dupe of it, cheaper dupe of it. But no, I think it's really different, and it's its own plant just from the shape of the leaves, kind of looking like a golden dragon, and then that mottled speckled leaf is unique on its own. It's almost like a sport variegated monstera, the green kind, except on this different leaf shape, which I really like. And it's also a really accessible plant. I hope that doesn't change this year, and I think I'd be able to trade for it. Last for the philodendrons is the most expensive one, but I included it anyway just in case I'd be able to trade for it this year. It is a Philodendron White Princess, And I've never been a fan of the pink princess or the white knight, but when I saw this philodendron, I just got. It's just so gorgeous, and it's a beautiful plant. I'm not sure if the variegation is stable. It probably isn't. My cat just jumped off the cabinet. It probably isn't, but I'm willing to take that risk because look at that insane pink splashing on the white variegation. That's just a gorgeous leaf. I have seen this in person, although the specimens I saw were not that pretty. I hope to be able to find a good one and get it at a good price or get it for free from a trade. Next, we move on to, of course, the Hoyas. And I have quite a few on my list because I was able to find a supplier that does pre-orders, and I think I'll be able to get all of these, hopefully this year. And let's just kick it off with the Hoya polynura. I've actually already placed an order for this. It was definitely not cheap, but this grows really fast, so I'll be able to get it back in no time. But that being said, I love the look of this Hoya. Again, not for everybody. Some people say it's overrated. I think it's beautiful. Just the fishtail shape of it and the veins on it is just gorgeous. I know this type of Hoya doesn't sun stress well and it can be tricky, but hopefully if I put it in my little terrarium here, it'll grow just fine. Next on my list is a Hoya Sarawak, and this has been on my wish list for a while. I haven't been able to find a supplier or a seller for it up to now, so I'm really excited to be able to get this Hoya sometime this year, maybe mid-2021, who knows. But this Hoya is just the juiciest Hoya with large leaves and prominent veins, which is all you'll ever want from a Hoya. And this is just a beautiful Hoya. It kind of looks like the globulosa, but I prefer this one over that. Next is a Hoya thomsonii. It's one of the OG fuzzy Hoyas, and I love the splashy version of this. It's fuzzy and it's splashy, and it has the most adorable leaves. It's just a gorgeous Hoya, and I have seen photos of it lush and trailing, and I hope I'm going to be able to get a full pot of this plant. Next is a Hoya manipurensis, and this is a weird looking Hoya, and I'm definitely wanting this just because of how cute the little leaves are. They're kind of like little, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like little triangles, but with little nubs, little lobes towards the end of the leaves, and they're just so adorable. Next is a Hoya linearis. Again, another plant that's pretty accessible in the US and the UK, but not accessible where I'm from in the Philippines. And I've heard that this Hoya is really fuzzy to the touch, and I've seen gorgeous photos of it trailing just down the side of a shelf, and it's just so beautiful. I understand these can be difficult to treat for mealybugs like the compacta, which I've gotten rid of by the way. But yeah, I think this one would be worth the hassle if ever it is a pest-prone plant, because it's just so beautiful. And the flowers, when it flowers, it just has like these little singular flowers as dots all over the foliage, and I just think that's so cute. Next is Hoya bella. Again, another really common Hoya in the US, but I've never seen it in person here, nor have I seen it being sold, so I'm really hoping to get my hands on it this year, because it is like a basic Hoya, you know, like everyone should have a Hoya bella. And it's just so simple and so pretty, and from what I've heard, it grows really fast and it's really easy to get it to grow for you. So I'm hoping to get a cutting this year and then just grow it into a full plant really fast, as Hoya bellas do. Next is a Hoya chingagensis. I will put the name on the screen. But I recently found out about this Hoya from one of the videos from Lesha's Leaves, and it was just so adorable. I saw photos of it right after that video, and I just need it. It's just so cute. It's like a Hoya serpens, but chubbier and cuter. And I just want to kind of situate it next to my Curtisii and watch them grow their tiny little leaves together. Next is more of a typical Hoya, probably on everyone's wish list this year, which is a Hoya Croniana Silver. I know we're not calling it by the other name anymore, but I did learn recently, at least from the supplier that I found, that the Eskimo version of this and the silver version are actually two different plants. I'm not sure if that's true, but I looked it up and the Eskimo version seems to have just fewer splashing compared to the silver, where the entire leaf is almost silver. And I just want a silver Hoya in my life that is not the Carnosa Gray Ghost, because that is ridiculously expensive. Next is another weird leafed Hoya, is the Hoya rotundiflora. It's so adorable. It kind of looks like a small platypus to me. The platypus beak. Yeah, that's what those leaves look like to me. And they look so cute when they're trailing up around the trellis. And I want to do that if I ever get a rotundiflora this year, because it's just so cute. It has such a unique foliage because it's obviously a rectangle, and I've never seen rectangular foliage on a plant, so I really want that. The last Hoya on the Hoya part of this list, finally, is the Hoya Kengiana variegata. I found this on Plant Me Ashley's video, and I've been wanting it ever since because it is just an adorable Hoya. The curled leaves, the wavy shape of the leaves is just so unique, and it looks like a thin leaf Hoya, which might mean it's a faster growing Hoya. But even if I just get a small cutting of it, I'd be happy. It's a beautiful Hoya. Finally, we move on to the odds and ends part, as Nick Pileggi would say, of the video. Just wishlist plants without their own category. Let's start with the Dischidia or Dischidia numularia variegata. Now this is just, you can see why I want this plant. It's got adorable little buttons as foliage, and this is pretty cheap where I'm from and pretty readily available, so I don't think I'd have any trouble getting it. And I found out from a friend of mine recently that these can get sun stressed, and their foliage turns pink when it gets sun stressed, which is just the cutest little thing. Next is a Syngonium milk confetti. The prices for this have become pretty steep over the past year, so I'm kind of hoping and waiting for maybe a trade for one of these, or for the prices to go down a bit. But this is so cute. It's like splashing on a white Syngonium leaf, which is just beautiful, and I hope I'll be able to get my hands on it. The last one for this wish list is an Alocasia silver dragon. I have been wanting one of these for a while. It is just the most beautiful Alocasia, and I am a big fan of Alocasias, even though they are spider mite magnets. But you can just see the gray veins on the top of the leaf, and when you flip it over, there's just a beautiful black, almost, it looks like blood vessels under the leaf, and I just need it. I would be willing to settle for a baby version of this plant because Alocasias grow pretty fast for me, but if I can trade for a bigger version, then why not? That is my wish list for 2021. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching this. Let me know if any of these plants are on your wish list, or if you think something should be on this wish list. Definitely check out my Instagram for my full wish list, because there are way more plants than these 20 that I've picked for you today. Thank you for watching. Check out a video I'll be putting up on the screen, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!